Bring me the real architect." The CEO's voice thundered across the glass-walled boardroom. The room froze. Dozens of eyes turned toward the doorway. And then, from the far end of the hall, a man in a worn janitor's uniform stepped forward, his hands calloused, his gaze steady. No one could have imagined what would happen next. The demand hung in the air like a blade. "Bring me the real architect!" The CEO's tone was sharp, dismissive, dripping with disbelief. Around the table, executives shifted uncomfortably, their polished shoes tapping against the marble floor. The design on the screen, brilliant, daring, impossible, had silenced even the most arrogant voices. Yet the man in charge refused to believe that the young associate who presented it was the true mind behind it. He wanted proof. He wanted the architect. And then, from the back of the room where shadows met silence, a janitor in a faded uniform paused mid-step. He set down his mop, straightened his back, and began to walk forward. Every eye followed him. Some smirked, some frowned. No one spoke. The man's name was Samuel. His shoes squeaked softly against the polished floor, each step steady, unhurried, almost defiant in its quietness. His hands bore the roughness of labor. His uniform carried faint stains of bleach and time. Yet his eyes, those calm, unwavering eyes, carried something far greater. Few in this room knew his story. Samuel had once worn a different uniform, one stitched with honor and burden. He had served overseas, building bridges not of concrete alone but of trust and survival. He had sketched shelters under fire, drafted escape routes on scraps of paper while dust and smoke filled the air. His hands, now seen as those of a cleaner, had once drawn lines that saved lives. When he returned home, medals in a box and scars in his heart, the world had not opened doors. The promises faded. The titles vanished. The only work he found was here, mopping floors where his blueprints now lay rolled and hidden. Samuel reached the center of the boardroom. Silence deepened. The CEO's eyebrows arched in disbelief. A few chuckled nervously. The young associate who had presented the design stared, wide-eyed, knowing the truth that others did not dare imagine. "Sir," Samuel began, his voice calm yet carrying a quiet thunder, "you asked for the real architect." He laid a weathered notebook on the table, pages worn thin, corners bent. He opened it to sketches, bridges, towers, housing that breathed with both beauty and mercy. Every line matched the masterpiece on the glowing screen. Gasps broke the silence. Executives leaned closer, their arrogance cracking under the weight of undeniable truth. The CEO's face shifted from disbelief to something else, something caught between shame and awe. Samuel did not gloat. He did not raise his voice. Instead, he said words that cut deeper than any insult. "Dignity," he whispered, "is not worn on a suit. It is carried in silence, proven in sacrifice, and drawn in the work we leave behind." The room stood still. Even those who had laughed now bowed their heads. The young associate's eyes filled with tears. The CEO, once towering with pride, seemed smaller now, as though the truth itself had stripped away his armor. In that moment, power shifted, not through rank, not through wealth, but through undeniable honor. Samuel closed his notebook and stepped back. He did not demand applause. He did not ask for recognition. His silence was his crown. A single executive rose from his chair, then another, until the entire boardroom stood, not in command, but in respect. Their silence matched his own. One phrase lingered in the air, carried on hearts rather than voices. Respect the quiet ones, for their silence often holds the loudest truth. As Samuel turned to leave, the young associate whispered words that would be remembered long after this day. Heroes don't always wear medals. Sometimes they carry mops. Respect is not defined by position, nor by title, nor by wealth. It lives in the unseen sacrifices of those who choose silence over pride, service over applause. Samuel's story is a reminder that dignity cannot be erased by uniforms or overlooked by arrogance. Wherever you are watching from, share your thoughts below. Who are the silent heroes in your life? Comment, reflect, and honor them. And if you believe more stories like this should be told, subscribe and join us. Together, let's make sure the quiet voices are never ignored again.